Well, thank you so much, Rafael, for your time. It was really nice to reach you since LinkedIn. And for neuromarketing.la, which is our website, a very important website in our community for Spanish-speaking learners about neuromarketing and neuroscience and behavioral science applied. It's a pleasure for us to have you here in this interview. So, very welcome. And please, the first question that I have for you is, what does the name Feng-GUI means? Please tell us a little bit what inspired you on the name.
Initially, it started as a Feng Shui for GUI. So Feng Shui, like Feng Shui, the art and methods of creating harmonic between you and nature and your surrounding, mixing proper elements of stone or wood or water. So there is this art of Feng Shui, and taking this name and converting it into Feng-GUI, like graphic user interface. So initially, the whole idea was to create a process for designers that will help them to make a better looking world, not just a better world, a better looking world. And along the way, it's not necessarily only for graphic user interface. It was supposed to be for graphic user interface, and then we realized that we need to first teach the machine how to see, so to simulate human vision, and only afterwards to be able to identify power and elements in that visual scene, and only afterwards to come up with tips and to help, for example, like photographers, they can take the power and the heat map inside the image, and based on that to create a more dynamic or harmonic cropping of that image, because they know where are the power elements of that image, so they can make it more balanced. So Feng-GUI stands for Feng Shui for GUI, which is graphic user interface, but our customers are from many verticals, like from product design to billboards and advertisements. Sadly, it's mostly for advertisements and how people perceive visuals, but we want to make the world more aesthetic and more appealing and less cluttered.
Okay, well, very interesting, and thank you so much for letting us know the importance of balance. I believe balance and in graphic elements with a combination of text and humans, and how to be more efficient. So I have the opportunity to be using your technology, but let me ask you something. What is the impact of your solution to your customers, since there is an evolution on the platform?
The final impact eventually is to enable them to get more results or better results for their customers, for their clients. So our Feng-GUI's customers are, it could be researchers or advertisers or digital agencies or product designs, but all these people are using the tool to get something better, to get better results. It could be an ad which is more converting. It could be a website which is more engaging in certain area. But to get to those better results for their clients, for our clients, we're doing it by providing three important things. One is lowering the cost of physical equipment of eye tracking. So it's a complementary addition to eye tracking. It doesn't necessarily compete with eye tracking directly, but eventually, after you're satisfied with the results, you can go to eye tracking and do some fine-tuning of your revisions of that stimuli. The other thing is time, of course, and additional things are more to enable the researcher to be more autonomous. So the researcher gets more insights without the IT costs and without communicating with people, and so everything is more engaging and more accessible to the user. So it's time, it's cost, and it's scalable. So a single person can handle many projects by himself. That's the major impact that we're aiming.
Great. And speaking of algorithms, why? Tell us about it. How long does it took you and your team to develop it? In which stages? What was the key main driver for that?
Okay. So we started like I think about 2006, 2007. So approximately 2 years before it became like a real business. So we were working more on the core, me and two partners, and the core algorithm is composed from several, like over 30 sub-algorithms that we combine together and tune them using eye tracking results and machine learning, and sometimes even we identify mistakes or false positives by ourselves, and we add them as unit tests and or regression tests, and manually tweaking those results and giving more push maybe to that artifact in that specific algorithm. To give you an example from another field, like optical character recognition. If you have a machine, a visual machine that, for example, sees your license plate, reads the number of your license plates, and it knows when you pay the receipt in the parking, so it automatically opened the gate for you, for your car. So OCR, optical character recognition, is not a single algorithm. It can be 6 algorithms, and you create like a median, like a common denominator. So you take all the 6 results and combine together, you reach to something which is more efficient. So it was like 2 years of work, not just about the core, also about the service itself. And then we created a beta program, and then it started to become a business. Initially, it was for website designers and conversion optimization. And afterward, we started to reach to other verticals like digital agencies and advertisers and product and package designs. And now we have videos and more aspects that you can analyze. I think another great milestone that we had about 2 years ago was an acknowledged by the MIT. The MIT University, they have, it's like Heineken, it's probably the best university in the world. So they have benchmarks for many machine algorithms, like even edge detection. So they compete. You can compete your own algorithm for edge detection, for creating a contour like the edge, and you can compare your results with drawings of people that draw by hand that edge detection. So MIT, I mean, regardless of this confusing example, the MIT has many benchmarks that you can test your algorithms, and people apply to those benchmarks, and you don't have the results. So you don't have the answers. In our case, MIT has a benchmark for computational attention, which is what we do. Computational attention, like the computer knows where the attention goes. And so they give you images and videos, and you need to send them back your predicted eye tracking, and they compare your predicted eye tracking with the real eye tracking of that data set that you don't know the answer. You don't get it. They have it. And Feng-GUI was ranked as I think 80 something, 82 out of 91, which is approximately 92 out of 100. And why is it 91? Because it's comparing our algorithm, and also there are other benchmark, other providers over there. I should say that most of our, if not all of the competitors of Feng-GUI, that they haven't submitted their algorithms. So we are the only one that not just claiming the results of correlation of 92% to eye tracking, but also validated through unbiased third-party institute. So,
Wow.
so why is it 91? It's because the benchmark is checking how good the process can predict how a human sees that visual, and it's comparing itself to how people manage to predict how other people will see this visual. So people also do not reach 100% of prediction how other people will see that visual. So that's why the highest score that you can reach is approximately 91%.
Wow, it's been a long way, Rafael.
Yeah, it's 12 years, I think, at least 2007, 6, 7. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really a long way, and the importance of a third party, such a prestigious third party like the MIT, to give this qualification in this ranking. And that comes to me for my another question. What do you think will be like the future of this type of algorithms? What can you predict?
Okay, prediction. There is a phrase
Prediction?
that says, I think a biblical phrase that says that prediction, or like the prophecy, were gave to the fools. But many people, of course, are anxiously waiting for the self-driving car. So if we're going to speak just about like machine vision algorithms, I mean, of course, there are many algorithms which are blowing now, like are very efficient now than before. I remember like 10 years ago, if you want to do just face detection, not recognition, just detection, it was very resource consuming. So it could take few seconds just to find faces, and now it's milliseconds, and handheld devices like cameras, they're doing it very fast. So there are many algorithms that used to be very slow 10 years ago, which are very fast and very accessible now. Of course, big data and elastic CPU on cloud enables you also to do very huge manipulation of large data. So of course, just driving on highways every day that I happen to do it, I always wish that the self-driving car will reach, just to avoid finding other drivers on the road, of course. So machine vision specifically also will be, I guess, much more accessible and acceptable in health, I think. You can see like the swallows, we call them, like the small birds, that they bring that let you know that what is the winter or the spring, I don't know, is coming. So you see the first few algorithms or apps of health. It could be crowdsourced apps like people filling inside their information, and also taking pictures of maybe like skin issues. And of course there are alternatives like identifying breast cancer tumors in female breast. So health being aided by and supported by machine visions and neural networks, and of course deep learning of understanding how, for example, a tumor should look, or some sort of skin issue can look, will be much more visible and accessible to us in the years to come.
When I was listening to you, and the predictive index is going to be impressive regarding diseases and probably symptoms that can be detected, just like now applied to social media, we can detect faces and recognize friends and details. But that is a major step into how humans are going to be related with treatment and medicine, prevent.
Yes, there are many professions which are, everybody's speaking that many professions will be obsolete because computers can do it better, and it's correct. They will not be obsolete completely, just like pilots are not being replaced by computers, but there are many computers in the airplane that helps the pilot. And just like a graphic designer is getting the aid of a magic wand that helps him to capture that specific area, so a doctor will be assisted by a machine vision process that will tell him, oh, did you see this point? Did you see this part? Maybe here there's something very suspicious that you should be paying attention for.
And probably for graphics designers, as you mentioned, they're going to be more creative because they can focus on what is important, probably understanding visual patterns and details.
Yeah, I don't know if they can be more creative. I see it in the music, for example, music space, that over the last 20 or 30 years, many instruments become virtualized, and many studio elements are also virtualized. So creating a home studio can be very significantly and relatively more cheap and more accessible. But I don't think that it changed the landscape of music and helped people to be more creative, but it lowered down the entry point. So every anonymous person can be like a hero within few days through YouTube and more accessible tools that are now in our fingertips.
Okay, perfect. So you already asked my next question about the machine learning and the platforms, but how about humans? Those humans, as in your continent and my continent, change visual patterns due to our physiology, the eyes. Can you I don't know if it's a prediction, or how can you mention that these changes can be covered by an algorithm if there are some difference in, I know, visual patterns, but is there any cultural and context which is very important for design or for communications?
Okay, so yeah, we've got similar questions before, and I think that we have them also answered in our frequent asked questions page. The questions are, for example, if it's part of your question, does, for example, in Feng-GUI, do we have, or in eye tracking, do we have differences between male and female, cultures, language like Japanese or Chinese, or if you're writing from right to left or from left to right. So first of all, the answer is, of course, yes, there are differences. There are countries that they have different practices. For example, if you take, I remember like a few years ago, there was an ad that some company took and compare how people were looking at, and the ad was a model which didn't wear a lot of clothes, and the ad was about shoes, and many of the people were looking at the shoes, and they were biased because they knew it was a shoes ad. So the search for bias and how results are being changed is also can be very tricky. It can be altered. I mean, it's very context dependent. The answer that we give about Feng-GUI is no. Our results are like a combination of 40 people, mixed male and female, age regardless. So we're trying to find how a primate or even a monkey will be attended to those visuals. And why I'm saying primate and monkey, because we're more dealing with the first impressions, with what you see in the first 3 seconds.
Which it applies to primates, as you mentioned.
Yeah. But of course, if you do eye tracking and you take a group of different people, and even if you give them different tasks, and maybe the task can be maybe they have a history with this website, or maybe they have a different they see things different. Even if you take a picture and you give 10 or 20 people to see this picture, you might have deviation and few anomalies in the results, and it could be related to maybe a person with more artistic visions is in your group. So you always need to try to explain the results and understand them. So in our case, we don't have any support for geoculture or different kind of male or female or bidirectional languages. We try to treat the visuals and to predict how people see that immediately. For example, like in text detection that we have, it's we're trying to identify text without without recognizing the text. So you can even write like alien characters that you invented, and we will identify them as text, and we realize that there is a text over there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I have just one last question, Rafael. During this pandemic, this COVID-19 times, have you seen a growth in the adoption of these platforms? Has it performed different? What can you tell us about it?
There was a decline in the incomes and in the transactions, of course. I'm happy to say that it was not drastic, because I'm guessing that we have the service that we were providing is an online service, and it's something that eliminates requirements of more IT and more maybe meeting in person the people. And just like us, just like Feng-GUI, you can see other services which I don't like to promote, but I do like to answer a truth answer. And you do see in our scope more services that give, for example, webcam-based eye tracking results, facial expression. So we do see over the last years, regardless, I guess, to the pandemic, we see more virtualization, more online accessing of the same practices that we used to do only in face-to-face. So even polls and surveys, you see more tools that enables you to do it online. So yeah, the revenues were, I guess, hit by the pandemic, but on the other hand, we are providing something which is a service, which is an online service. So it's like a different force that push us back to be profitable. I hope it answered your questions, and of course I wish that everything will get back to normal with all the good and bad about it.
Yeah, probably we're going to go back to our whole habits, or probably new habits, new adoptions are during this difficult and different times. And for our region, which is Latin America, which is Spanish speaking users with where there are a lot of entrepreneurs, probably your solution is going to be more accessible, more with instant results probably for them, and to have like better designs to be more efficient with their communication. So I think they're going to be very interested, and thank you so much for the time, and thank you for this development.
Thank you very much for your invitation. I was having fun, so glad to do this interview.
Great.
So goodbye. Be safe.
Goodbye. Be safe too. You too.